Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, taking a fun and exciting video for you guys today because I'm taking a look at a work in progress 4K texture pack for Paper Mario. That is because just recently I talked about the Paper Mario ReCut PC recompilation that just released, and soon it seems like Harbour Masters will have Paper Boat out as well. And I had a metric ton of questions about whether or not the current ReCut recompilation or Paper Boat are going to feature any support for the 4K texture packs. And just so you know, when you are seeing the 4K texture pack footage, which you're not right now, you are seeing ReCut the Recomp. It is all in Rosalie's Moopin GUI. That is because there seems to be a naming convention situation going on with MasterKillua's 4K pack where it just will not ingest into ReCut. Nothing against the actual 4K texture pack. No one knew that this recomp was coming out, but you guys wanted to see some 4K Paper Mario footage, and I figured I'd talk about just how impressive of a project this is. And I think it is MasterKillua, kind of saying it like Kahlua the drink, but if I am incorrect, I apologize. Pronunciations are hard when you don't actually have the name in front of you. But it's one of those things. There's so many incredible texture packs out there, but honestly this work in progress Paper Mario 4K conversion might be the most impressive, because honestly, if you said this was an original Switch game, I would 100% believe you. And just so you know, this isn't 100% finished yet. It is updated recently. It's been something that I've been playing around with, and I figured it was the perfect time to talk about it. Before I get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe, and hitting that notification bell definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. And outside of the 4K texture pack, let's talk about something very important in the Mario universe. There's always a question of whether or not Princess Peach and Mario have some sort of quote-unquote special relationship, and I'm pretty sure Paper Mario confirms exactly that. Princess Peach has her entire Toad Guard here into her private chambers, and Mario has carte blanche to go in anytime he wants. You know what that means? He's visiting under the cover of darkness for a little mushroom on mushroom time. All jokes aside, it's always been one of those things. If she has all the guards, and even though Mario's trusted, clearly he has permission to enter Princess Peach's chamber anytime he wants, if you know what I mean. And now that we've got the ridiculous jokes out of the way, we can go back to the 4K texture pack, because again, right here, 10 out of 10 stunning and amazing, and you would be hard pressed to believe that this is an N64 game at its own root. And as we go through some of the cutscenes here, honestly, the amount of papercraft going on in the textures, it just looks every bit as good as the most recent Paper Mario game. And don't get me started on that. I am still absolutely upset with what they did to Bobby. It is one of those moments I'm never going to forget it in gaming. And if you've never played the game before, don't get too attached to Bobby, because you're going to have a very bad time. But with the white outline here, there's also a pack that removes the white outline and everything else updated. It is just stunning. If this is something you want to play today, I will leave a link to the Patreon down below for MasterKillua so you can pick it up, but just be aware that it is still an in development progress project, so you can't get every single texture right off the top. I'm sure it will be done relatively shortly, and once Paper Boat goes out, I would assume hopefully by day one that will support the texture pack as well, because even though the original game is very pretty, as you will see here, taking something like a potential PC port or recomp and giving it 4K textures is really going to make it feel like a game that came out last week, not in the N64 era. And that is why all these N64 decomps, recomps, and PC ports are so important. They just modernize the ever-loving hell out of a game and make it look that much more stunning. And hopefully with Paper Boat, you might get some 16:9 support as well, so it'll be interesting to see how the textures actually extend out with that extended draw distance. I'm sure it will be fine because we've seen it in other ports before, but I'm sure it'll be something that needs to be massaged ever so slightly to work. But just take a look at Toad here. That looks absolutely like a modern asset, and that just goes to show how much work MasterKillua has put into something like this. Every single texture that's been replaced has been lovingly recreated to a caliber that really feels like there is a professional studio behind it, and not somebody who in their spare time is making these projects. And that really is even more impressive, because these aren't people's full-time jobs. They do this for passion and out of love of the game, pun very much intended, and we all get to win in the end. Let's do a soundtrack sample of Paper Mario just because I love the music and I can make you listen to it, but come back and I'll show you a lot more of the new 4K texture pack that you can enjoy. I mean, honestly, it's amazing how good the cutscenes look as well as all the in-game content. That's not an easy thing whatsoever, because if you watch the channel, maybe you know, maybe you don't, but I am a working artist. I have an MFA, and I've been working in art for 22 years, but I need cameras or a non-linear editing system to be able to produce anything whatsoever. If you give me a pencil, if you give me a crayon, if you give me a paintbrush, or even any sort of digital art form, I am not able to do it if it requires drawing or making sort of any 2D art whatsoever. I am very specifically a filmmaker, and that's all I've ever really wanted to be. But it's one of those things, to be able to do something like this requires so much artistic talent, not just in the physicality of making these textures, but also in the intent, because you don't want to change too much about the game and make it look not like Paper Mario. You want to change just enough to make it look like a Paper Mario game that somehow came out last week and you just didn't know about it, and not an N64 game, because if you think about it, Paper Mario is not a new game whatsoever, but here it looks like something that could have just been developed, and that is just a testament to MasterKillua's ability to not only make this look prettier, but also make it look and feel exactly like a Paper Mario game should. From the overworld to the cutscenes to the actual battle arenas here, everything is just stunning, and all those textures have a nice texture, for lack of a better term, to them as well. You can see it almost looks like construction paper at the front, kind of almost feels like a mixture between Paper Mario as well as some of the Yoshi games, where textural textures are actually a very big component to them. That's not a term easy to say, textural textures, but it really is how I kind of think about them. And all of the enemies here and everything else that has been done, you would really think that, again, a team of artists was in charge of making these, and that really is going to show how good it is. So if these are going to work in the PC port Paper Boat or ReCut, we'll have to wait and see, but I'm sure at least one of them will make this actually happen. I feel like it will be Paper Boat, and that is just going to be such an incredible experience. And if you've never played Paper Mario before and you want to play it, you don't really care about the overall N64 texture aesthetic, and you do want to wait for Paper Boat to come out, definitely don't play it until you have the texture pack available to use, because it really just does modernize the game in so many incredible and amazing ways, especially with the transparencies here. It is just such a pretty looking thing. You tell me down below how you feel about this. I'm sure most people are going to be impressed, but I get it that some people just like going with the original textures for the original aesthetic, and that's why projects like this are incredible. You really have the option to play them, or you can just completely ignore them and pretend they don't exist. But honestly, from the castle here with all of that kind of like mottled stone texture to it, to the trees, to the leaves falling down, there is not a stray pixel in here that doesn't look incredible to my eye. But if you do want to play this one, again, one more reminder, the texture pack replacement isn't 100% done, so you may end up in a situation, especially later in the game, where you see an original texture. It'll be a little bit of an interesting juxtaposition, but it'll also be able to show you just how much different the quality is. Let's do one more soundtrack sample, just because, again, 10 out of 10 music and 10 out of 10 charm, and I'll be right back with just a bit more. I think one of my favorite things about the Paper Mario franchise that got its start in the original, of course, is just the game's overall slapstick sense of humor, and when you add in 4K textures to that, it just ends up being that much more fun of an experience. And honestly, for me personally, compared to the original textures, I am going with the high definition or 4K reworks from MasterKillua every day of the week and twice on Sunday. And this isn't just important for you and I, the people that grew up with these games and want to play them again. Like I've said in previous videos, the younger generation of game players that want new Nintendo games and don't want to wait for Nintendo to make more, if you put them in front of something like this, the 4K texture pack from MasterKillua, running something like Rosalie's Whoopin' GUI, and just handed them a controller, they would think that they were playing a game that was in stores last week, and they would sit down and enjoy it. or any of my nephews, if I showed them the original Paper Mario on an N64, they would call it a dinosaur, they'd look at me like I was old as shit, and they would walk out of the room kind of laughing at me. It might be a little bit of a sad statement, but it's also a true statement. Stuff like this is going to make these games popular with generations that never actually grew up with them, and we need more people in the retro gaming tent, not less, and that's why I'm always advocating for these projects, for inclusion, for everyone to be able to play whatever they want, however they want, and there to be no bad option out there. So if you want to check this one out, the link is in the description below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.